What would you do if a police officer pointed a gun at you just because of your skin color? And what if, on top of that, he laughed at your job and authority? A black woman from the FBI faces a racist officer, and what happens next will change everything. Do you think justice always wins? It was a hot afternoon in the city. Traffic was slowly moving down the avenues, and the sound of cars echoed in every corner of the street. Maya, a black woman in her 30s, was driving her vehicle calmly. Her skin, smooth and dark, reflected the light of the sun that was beginning to set, and her face, though serene, showed the determination of a woman who had worked tirelessly to get where she was. Her professional attire was impeccable, and her attitude displayed the confidence of someone who had not only earned her place in the world, but had also gained the respect of her colleagues and superiors at the FBI. However, that afternoon, Maya was about to face something that would change her perception of justice, her own authority, and that of the legal system she represented. Maya was stopped at an intersection, waiting for the light to change from red to green. Suddenly, a police car pulled up behind her. The sound of the siren, followed by the flashing lights, made her look into the rearview mirror. What was going on? She hadn't committed any traffic violation. Despite her confusion, Maya knew she had to follow the officer's instructions, though something inside her told her something wasn't right. The police officer approaching her vehicle was not exactly someone who inspired trust. With a stern expression, light skin, and an arrogant posture, he walked toward her window. His uniform was polished, but his attitude left much to be desired. "Roll down the window," ordered the officer in an authoritative tone, his hand resting near his gun, clearly visible. Maya, confused but keeping her calm, complied. She slowly lowered the window, maintaining control over her breathing. "What's going on, officer?" she asked in a calm but firm voice. The officer scanned her from top to bottom, his gaze taking in her figure, and without saying another word, he pointed his gun at her. The shock hit her chest, but her face remained unchanged. "Do you know why I stopped you?" the officer said, looking into the rearview mirror. "Not only did you stop in an unauthorized zone, but you're one of those people who thinks that just because you have a badge, you can do whatever you want. And this FBI badge..." The officer let out a mocking laugh. "Do you really think you're something special because of that?" Maya felt a knot in her stomach, but her mind remained clear. She knew that such attitudes weren't rare. Many people on the street viewed people like her with disdain, especially those who felt superior because of their uniform, their power. But she, as an FBI agent, had learned to face adversity with calm. She knew that any mistake could be fatal. "I'm an FBI agent," she said firmly. "I didn't commit any violation. I'm on a confidential mission." The officer, however, openly mocked her. "A confidential mission? Sure, and I'm the President of the United States. Get out of your car right now." The officer seemed to enjoy the discomfort he was causing, the fear that was beginning to infiltrate the atmosphere. As the gun continued to point at Maya, the tension multiplied. However, she didn't let herself be intimidated. She knew that such confrontations could escalate quickly, but she also knew that her life was more important than giving in to violence or fear. "Why don't you check my badge?" Maya said, keeping her voice steady. Quickly but controlled, she pulled out her FBI badge and showed it to the officer. The badge gleamed in the sunlight, with the FBI emblem clearly visible. But the officer, instead of showing respect, let out another mocking laugh and shook his head with disdain. "Do you really expect me to believe you? I don't care how nice your badge looks," he said while keeping his gun pointed at Maya. "This is my street, and I'm the one in charge here. Get out of the car now." The officer's attitude seemed out of place, and Maya knew it. He was trying to humiliate her not only because of her race, but also because of her status. The feeling of injustice hit hard, but Maya remained calm. She took a deep breath, and instead of reacting with anger, she began making a call with her internal radio, alerting the control center and her superiors about the situation. Inside, Maya felt that the conflict had already gone beyond what she expected, but she also knew she had the ability to control what happened next. The officer, unaware of what was going on, insisted with more arrogance. "I'm giving you one last chance. Get out of the car. I don't want to hear excuses." Maya, without moving from her seat, continued her call while maintaining her calm. She knew that any impulsive response could give the officer an excuse to act violently. "I'm an FBI agent. If you have doubts, check my credentials. And I repeat, I'm not doing anything illegal," she said in a firm but controlled voice. The officer didn't seem to listen. He wasn't willing to let her go that easily. "An FBI agent? Sure, and I'm Superman," he said, and began laughing quietly while keeping his gun pointed at her. Without warning, a couple of police cars approached the scene with sirens blaring. The new officers quickly got out, observing the situation with keen eyes. The racist officer's attitude was no longer going unnoticed. One of the officers looked at Maya, and upon seeing her badge, immediately understood what was happening. "Get out of there," ordered one of the new officers, as he approached the racist officer. "What's going on here?" The racist officer tried to defend himself, but the damage had already been done. Maya's call had been recorded, and now the evidence of his abuse of power was in the hands of everyone. Within minutes, the officer who had tried to intimidate Maya was surrounded by the new officers, who began arresting him without hesitation. "Stay still," commanded another officer, as they placed handcuffs on a racist officer. The man tried to resist, but he stood no chance against the overwhelming evidence that incriminated him. His attempts to justify his abuse of power were in vain. Maya finally breathed a sigh of relief. Not only had she stayed calm, but she had also demonstrated the importance of not yielding to racism. Despite the threats and intimidation, she had done the right thing. Hours later, Maya was in her office, writing the report on the incident. The heat and tension of the moment still lingered in her body, but her mind was more at ease. She had faced a situation that could have turned violent, but her patience and determination had led her to victory. As she looked at the report, Maya thought about the conversation she would have later with her boss. Justice had prevailed, but not in the way she had expected. Although the system sometimes failed, she had been able to enforce the law, and above all, she had proven that the power of authority could not be used to oppress others, no matter the color of their skin. Racism can exist in many places, she thought as she signed her report, but that doesn't mean we have to accept it. We must always fight for what is right. If you like this video, you have to check out this one, where an elderly black man is humiliated by a racist manager, unaware of his power. Click now, and we'll see you there. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment.